What's going on, YouTube? Today, I'm going to talk to you about Dark World and where I think they are in the format and why I think they're bad. I play them, but I think they're bad because of a few reasons. Now, the deck is very powerful, but it loses to injectors and wind-ups. It doesn't have any answers to the loop, to the wind-up loop. I mean, the deck, it runs itself, and it is very good because you maintain control with Grapha, and you have lots of destruction in the deck, and you remain in control with your trap cards such as Dark Smog. But the deck has a lot of big flaws. Some new cards that recently came out for the deck. Dark Smog came out last set, and Trance Archfiend came out this set. These cards are cards that the Dark World theme really needed. Smog lets you control the graveyard by banishing cards in your opponent's graveyard, but you have to discard, but you get all your effects off of the discards, which just net you a lot of pluses. And Dark Smog is really amazing, especially if you have a Grapha in hand. You can remove from play something on your opponent's turn, and then drop the Grapha from your hand, and the Grapha blows up something, and it creates a lot of plays. It really does. And Trance Archfiend, the most consistent way to beat this deck is to try and remove from play the Graphas. Trance Archfiend helps with that because when it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you get a remove from play Fiend back to your hand, so you can grab your Grapha back. And it also allows you to discard something. The only way Trance Archfiend can be better is if it had Dark World in its name. But these two cards solved a lot of problems that the Dark World deck had. Dark Smog being graveyard control, and Trance Archfiend being consistency. And it's really a way to beat the deck. It's like a counter card, basically, to their counter strategy. Maining the Trance Archfiend, I would main two of them. It just helps out way too much. Nothing makes you more sad when he gets bottomless. A reason why the deck is not good is because you cannot play Gore's Maxi or Effect Veiler in the deck. Now, you're probably asking me, well, why not? These cards seem to be staple. I agree that they should be staple. They are staple in order to become very competitive, but you can't run them because of your power cards. What I mean by your power cards is Drag Down to the Grave, Morphing Jar, and Card Destruction. All three of these must be played in the deck to make the deck good. Card Destruction with 3 Dark Worlds in hand nets you way too many pluses and almost ensures you game. It doesn't exactly ensure you game, but it's pretty damn close. It's way too much advantage from your opponent to come back from. Morphing Jar, same thing. You just set your entire hand and this, and then when they attack into it, or if they just pass, you flip it, and true, your opponent gets cards, but you get cards, plus you get the pluses that the Dark Worlds get when they're discarded. So, like again, if you have like 3 Dark Worlds in hand, you go +8. Say you have a Brow, a Snow, and a Grapha. Alright? Because you draw 5. Brow gets you a card. Snow gets you a card. And Grapha blows up a card on your opponent's side of the field. So Morphing Jar and Card Destruction are your big powerhouse cards. They will plus you a lot. And Drag Down the Grave, amazing card because you get to poke cards out of your opponent's hand. They're power cards. They're Monster Reborn, they're Dark Hole, they're Remove from Play cards, they're Heavy Storm, they're Gores, whatever they freaking want, you can just rip out of their hand. And that is amazing. Now, what does that have to do with the hand traps? Well, if you're running the hand traps, you can't run these. And these are your power cards. And that is because you don't want to have a situation where you have the card Destruction, 2 Dark Worlds in hand, and the Gores. You want to save the Gores for when they make their giant push and they're going for game. And that's going to want you make you not want to play Card Destruction or Morphing Jar or Drag Down. Because if you play Drag Down, they're going to choose the Gores. They're going to choose the Effect Failure. They're going to choose the Maxi. And you're not going to get the plus. You're actually going to go -1. Because Drag Down is out of your hand in the graveyard. They rip a card out of your graveyard. Out of your hand. And then you draw 1. So, -1. And losing advantage sucks. So you can't really play these because it makes you not want to play these. And these are your powerhouse cards. These are the cards that will get you the wins. Especially if you can hit them off early enough while your hand is full of monsters. And because you can't play these, because these cards stop the more powerful meta decks right now, you're screwed royally. Now side deck. The reason why this deck is powerful is because it has a powerful side deck. Leeching Light, everybody plays it. Chain Disappearance, Skill Drain, Deck Devi, and Eradicator, Epidemic Virus. Leeching Light everyone can play, so I'm not even going to really include that. And same thing with Chain Disappearance. Chain Disappearance hits windups and Inzectors really hard. If you hit their Dragonfly or their Rat, the decks kind of just stop. But these 3 cards, being able to side all 3 of these stops a lot of decks and gives you so much power game 2 and 3 if you go to 3. But game 2, it gives you so much power. Skill Drain stops like everything besides like TGs, and I don't even know what else would play this besides the Dark World deck. Eradicate, so you put in the Eradicator against TGs. Anything trap heavy, anything spell heavy, Eradicator. Eradicator I play against Dark Worlds. I call spell every single time, and it gets rid of all their discard outlets, and then you basically just sit there and you win. Deck Devi as well also hits plants, windups, Inzectors, agents. It rips those earths, it rips those shine balls, even though that doesn't really matter all that much. But yeah, just being able to side these cards gives the deck a lot of power. And a big reason why the deck sucks is because a lot of the popular side deck choices right now hurt the deck immensely. DD Crow removing the Graphas, again, it hurts the deck way too much. That's why you have to play the Trance Archfiend. Just for the mained DD Crows and the mained bottomlesses that people might be. Like, Trance Archfiend way too important. And the Shadow Imprison Mirror and Defissure both kill the deck. Like, if I discard Grapha off of a Dark World effect, say Gates, and either of these is out, because he resolves in the graveyard, so Shadow Imprison Mirror will negate it, and Defissure is going to remove it, and since it's not in the graveyard during resolution, it's not gonna go off. So these cards, just playing this and me not being able to hit them hurts the deck so much. That's why when you're playing the deck, I highly recommend, if you play the deck, that is, I highly recommend triple MST. You might say, oh, why don't you just do double MST and Heavy Storm like everyone else? Well, you can't run Heavy Storm in this deck because of your 2 power cards. You cannot run Heavy Storm. It's kind of just like these, and also Drag Down, I guess, because when you play either of these 3, you want to set every single trap card and magic card you have so you do not lose them. You gaining your pluses off of your monsters being discarded, not your magic and traps. So when you activate Drag Down, you don't activate it before you set all of your spells and traps, and then you activate Drag Down. You can't do it the other way. Same thing with Morphing Jar and Card Destruction. You don't want to be discarding your other discard outlets, like your gates and stuff, unless it gets way too cloggy. Like, say if you have triple gates in hand, sure, go ahead, play Card Destruction. Alright, so just the fact that you can't run the hand traps in the deck makes it not a viable choice. I wouldn't run the deck for this current format, but it's about to change. So, hope this helped, and peace out.